Notice what happens in your body right now when I say that thing you believe most deeply, that conviction you defend without hesitation, that truth you hold as self-evident. Your brain didn't choose it because evidence overwhelmed you. Your brain chose it because the alternative felt like falling. Not metaphorically, physically, like the ground disappearing beneath your feet. Your chest tightens when someone questions your core belief. Your jaw clenches. Heat rises in your face. That's not you defending truth. That's your nervous system defending itself. Because your brain doesn't actually care what's true. It cares what's survivable. And uncertainty, to a brain wired for prediction and pattern, feels like death. You don't believe things because they're correct. You believe them because not believing feels worse. The human brain is not a truth detector. It's a prediction machine running on a very specific fuel. Certainty. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for reasoning, planning, and conscious thought, is constantly trying to build models of reality. Not accurate models. Stable models. Models that allow you to move through the world without freezing at every decision. And when information arrives that doesn't fit the model, something fascinating happens. Your brain doesn't update the model. It fights the information. This is not a bug. This is the design. Because in evolutionary terms, being wrong about something was often survivable. But being uncertain, hesitating, second-guessing in the presence of a predator or during a scarce resource opportunity, that could kill you. So your ancestors who developed neural systems that prioritized quick certainty over slow accuracy survived longer. They made faster decisions. They committed to action. They believed without proof because proof took time they didn't have. And you inherited that system. Your amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, treats uncertainty as danger. When you encounter information that conflicts with your existing beliefs, your amygdala activates. Not because the information is threatening, because the uncertainty is threatening. Studies using brain imaging show that when people are presented with facts that contradict their political beliefs, their amygdala lights up in the same pattern as when they're shown images of physical threats. The brain literally experiences cognitive dissonance as pain. And just like any pain, your system wants it to stop. So what does your brain do? It reaches for the nearest available certainty, even if that certainty is objectively wrong, even if that certainty contradicts observable reality. Because a wrong answer that feels certain is neurologically preferable to a right answer that feels uncertain. This is why intelligent people believe absurd things. This is why education doesn't automatically prevent belief in conspiracy theories or pseudoscience. Because belief is not an intellectual process. It's an emotional regulation strategy. Your brain is constantly scanning for patterns. Pattern recognition is one of the most powerful survival tools humans have. You see a shadow move in the grass and your brain instantly categorizes it. Snake, stick, wind. This happens in milliseconds, far faster than conscious thought. And this same pattern recognition system applies to everything. Relationships, politics, religion, health, career. Your brain takes in fragments of information and assembles them into narratives that feel complete. These narratives become beliefs. And once a belief forms, your brain defends it with the same intensity it would defend you from a predator. This is the invisible mechanism most people never notice. Confirmation bias is not just about seeking information that agrees with you. It's about emotional regulation. Every time you encounter information that confirms your existing belief, your brain rewards you. Dopamine, relief, a small hit of neurological comfort. This isn't conscious. You don't think, I will now feel pleasure because this supports my worldview. Your nervous system just relaxes slightly. The world makes sense again. Prediction successful. But when you encounter contradicting information, your brain doesn't just ignore it. It actively works to discredit it. Not through logical analysis, through emotional rejection. You feel resistance before you even process the content. Your mind searches for reasons to dismiss it. The source is biased. The methodology is flawed. It's an outlier. It doesn't account for this one variable you just thought of. These aren't careful intellectual critiques. They're defense mechanisms appearing as reasoning. Here's what makes this particularly powerful. You experience this process as rational thought. You genuinely believe you're being logical, careful, discerning. You're not aware that your conclusion was chosen by your nervous system before your conscious mind even began analyzing. The reasoning comes after. Your brain reverse engineers justification for a decision your body already made. Psychologists call this post hoc rationalization. You call it thinking. So let's talk about the invisible luggage you carry. Beliefs you absorbed before you could spell your own name. Beliefs handed to you by parents, culture, religion, geography, the specific era you were born into. You didn't choose most of your core beliefs. They were installed. And because they were installed early, when your brain was most plastic and vulnerable, they became part of your operating system. Not something you think about, something you think with. This is why people raised in different religious traditions can hold completely contradictory beliefs with identical levels of certainty. It's not that one group found better evidence. It's that belief formation happens below the level of evidence. A child doesn't believe in God because they examined theological arguments. They believe because the adults they depend on for survival believe. And their developing brain learns that this belief equals safety, belonging, love. The belief becomes welded to their sense of security. By the time you're old enough to question these installed beliefs, they're not just ideas anymore. They're infrastructure. Questioning them feels like dismantling yourself. And your brain will do almost anything to avoid that feeling. So it doesn't question. It defends. It builds walls of logic around emotional foundations. It constructs elaborate justifications for conclusions it never actually chose. You've probably noticed this in others. Someone believes something obviously wrong and no amount of evidence changes their mind. You think they're stubborn or stupid or blinded by ideology. But here's the twist. They're looking at you the same way. Because from inside a belief system, that system feels like reality itself. The belief is invisible. It's not something they have. It's something they are. And you're asking them to stop being themselves. This is the paradox at the heart of human belief. The beliefs you hold most certainly are often the ones protecting your most uncertain parts. Think about it. The person who constantly posts about their perfect relationship is usually the one most afraid it's failing. The person who aggressively defends their political ideology is often the one most terrified of moral ambiguity. The person who needs you to believe what they believe is often the one whose belief is most fragile. Because if they truly felt secure in their belief, your doubt wouldn't threaten them. Certainty is not strength. Certainty is often fear wearing a mask. Here's another layer. Your beliefs create your perception, not the other way around. You think you look at the world objectively and form beliefs based on what you see. But your brain doesn't work that way. Your brain uses beliefs as a filter that determines what you see in the first place. This is called top-down processing. Your expectations shape your experience more than your experience shapes your expectations. There's a famous psychology experiment where people watch a video of individuals passing a basketball. They're told to count the passes. Halfway through, someone in a gorilla suit walks through the frame, beats their chest, and walks off. Most people don't see the gorilla. Not because it's subtle. Because their attention is directed elsewhere. Their brain filters it out as irrelevant to the task. This is happening constantly. Your beliefs tell your brain what's relevant, what's real, what deserves attention, and everything else gets filtered into background noise. So when two people with different belief systems look at the same event, they literally see different things. Not because one is lying, because their brains are highlighting different data. A protest looks like freedom to one person and chaos to another. A policy looks like compassion to one person and weakness to another. Same event, different filters. And both people experience their interpretation as objective reality. Both are certain they're right. Both have supporting evidence because their brain only showed them evidence that fit the predetermined conclusion. This is why debates rarely change anyone's mind. Because debate operates on the assumption that belief follows evidence. But belief precedes evidence. Evidence is recruited to support the belief, not to form it. You can present someone with perfect logic, flawless data, undeniable proof, and they will find a way to reject it if it threatens their core narrative. Not because they're dishonest, because their nervous system experiences that threat as survival-level danger. Let's go deeper into why this happens. Your sense of self is built on narrative. You are not a fixed thing. You are a story your brain tells itself. And that story needs to be coherent. When new information arrives that contradicts the story, your brain has two options. Rewrite the story or reject the information. Rewriting the story is neurologically expensive. It requires energy. It creates uncertainty. It destabilizes your sense of identity. Rejecting the information is cheap, fast, and maintains stability. Your brain will almost always choose the cheaper option. This is why changing deeply held beliefs feels like ego death. Because it is. The version of you that believed X cannot coexist with the version of you that believes not X. One version has to die, and your brain resists that death with everything it has. It will twist logic. It will ignore evidence. It will attack the messenger. It will create elaborate conspiracy theories explaining why everyone else is wrong. Anything to avoid the collapse of the narrative. But here's what most people miss. This mechanism serves you. Your beliefs, even false ones, are doing important psychological work. They're managing anxiety. They're creating meaning. They're giving you a sense of control in a chaotic world. A person who believes everything happens for a reason doesn't believe that because they examined causality. They believe it because randomness feels unbearable. A person who believes in a just world where good is rewarded and evil punished doesn't believe that because they studied moral philosophy. They believe it because the alternative, that terrible things happen to innocent people for no reason, is too destabilizing to accept. Your beliefs are emotional tools. They help you sleep at night. They help you make decisions. They help you feel connected to others who share those beliefs. They give your life structure and purpose. This is not weakness. This is how human minds maintain coherence in an incoherent universe. The problem only arises when you mistake these emotional tools for objective truth. So what about the beliefs you've changed? The ones you used to hold with certainty and now see as obviously wrong? If belief change is so difficult, how did that happen? Pay attention to the pattern. Belief change almost never happens through logical argument. It happens through experience. Through prolonged exposure to contradicting evidence in a context where your nervous system feels safe. Through relationships with people who believe differently but don't threaten you. Through personal crisis that shatters the old narrative and forces reconstruction. And even then, even when beliefs change, notice how it happens. You don't admit you were wrong. Your brain finds a way to reframe it. I evolved. I woke up. I saw the light. The new belief is framed as progress, growth, enlightenment, rarely as error correction. Because your ego needs to protect itself. You weren't wrong before. You just didn't have all the information. You were misled. You were young. Something changed in the external world that made your old belief obsolete. This reframing allows belief change without identity collapse. Here's the mechanism most people never examine. Your beliefs cluster. They don't exist in isolation. You believe a constellation of things that all support each other. Political beliefs connect to moral beliefs, connect to religious beliefs, connect to beliefs about human nature. This clustering creates stability. Each belief reinforces the others. Pull one thread and the whole web tightens. This is why people seem to believe predictable combinations of things. Why certain political positions correlate with certain religious positions correlate with certain lifestyle choices. Not because these beliefs logically necessitate each other, because they emotionally support each other. And this clustering makes belief change even harder. Because changing one belief threatens the entire structure. If you start questioning your religion, your moral framework wobbles. If you start questioning your political ideology, your social identity feels unstable. The mind resists this instability with tremendous force. It will perform incredible logical gymnastics to maintain the cluster intact. It will ignore massive contradictions between beliefs as long as acknowledging those contradictions would destabilize the system. Let's talk about something subtle. The way belief shapes memory. Your brain doesn't record experiences like a camera. It reconstructs memories each time you recall them. And that reconstruction is influenced by your current beliefs. This is why eyewitness testimony is so unreliable. This is why people misremember their own past. Your brain literally rewrites history to match your present narrative. You remember yourself as always having believed what you believe now. The beliefs you held 5 years ago, your memory softens them, adjusts them, makes them more consistent with who you are today. This means your past is constantly being edited to support your present. You remember the evidence that confirmed your beliefs. You forget or distort the evidence that contradicted them. You remember the times you were right. You minimize the times you were wrong. This isn't lying. This is how memory works. And it creates an illusion of consistency. You feel like you've always been this way, always known these truths, always seen clearly. When in reality, your beliefs and memories have been co-evolving, each shaping the other, building a narrative that feels seamless but is actually constructed. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Intelligence doesn't protect you from this. In fact, intelligence can make it worse. Because intelligent people are better at constructing justifications. They're better at finding supporting evidence. They're better at poking holes in contradicting evidence. They can build more elaborate defenses around their beliefs. This is called motivated reasoning. Your intelligence becomes a lawyer for conclusions your emotions already reached. The smarter you are, the better the lawyer. This is why you see brilliant scientists who believe in astrology, accomplished doctors who promote nonsense health claims, educated people who fall for obvious scams. Their intelligence didn't protect them. It gave them better tools to defend indefensible positions. They can cite studies. They can construct complex arguments. They can find the one ambiguous piece of data that seems to support their belief and build an entire case around it. Intelligence without intellectual humility is just sophisticated self-deception. So where does this leave you? If your brain is designed to believe without proof, if your beliefs serve emotional needs rather than truth-seeking, if evidence doesn't actually change minds, what's the point? Here's the point. Understanding the mechanism gives you distance from it. You can't eliminate belief formation. You can't turn off pattern recognition or emotional regulation. But you can become aware of the process. You can catch yourself defending a belief before examining it. You can notice the physical sensation of cognitive dissonance and pause instead of reacting. You can recognize when you're rejecting information to protect comfort rather than pursue truth. This awareness creates a gap, a small space between stimulus and response. And in that space, choice becomes possible. You can ask different questions. Not "is this true?" but "why do I need this to be true?" Not "what's the evidence?" but "what would it cost me to be wrong about this?" These questions bypass the defense mechanisms. They don't attack the belief directly. They examine its function. And examining function is less threatening than examining truth. Here's a practice. Take one belief you hold strongly, something political, religious, or personal. Now try this. For 1 minute, genuinely try to argue the opposite position. Not to mock it, not to tear it down, but to steelman it, to make the strongest possible case against your own belief. Notice what happens in your body. Notice the resistance. Notice the urge to stop, to say this is stupid, to find exceptions. That resistance is your nervous system protecting the belief. Just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't try to overcome it. Just observe that the resistance is physical, not logical. This practice isn't about changing your belief. It's about creating separation between you and the belief, so you can hold it lightly instead of being held by it. Because the beliefs you can question are the beliefs you actually own. The beliefs you can't question are the beliefs that own you. Another practice, the maybe exercise. Take statements you hold as certain and add maybe to them. "I know this policy is bad" becomes "maybe this policy is bad." Notice how that feels. For most people, It feels weak, wishy-washy. But here's the thing. Maybe doesn't mean probably not. It just means you're holding space for uncertainty. And uncertainty is not ignorance. Uncertainty is intellectual honesty. The willingness to say, I don't know, is not weakness. It's courage. Because certainty is comfortable and uncertainty requires sitting with discomfort. Here's what happens when you practice uncertainty. Your nervous system slowly learns that not knowing doesn't equal danger. That doubt doesn't mean collapse. That changing your mind doesn't mean you were stupid before. This is a gradual process. Your amygdala has been treating uncertainty as threat for your entire life. It won't update overnight. But with consistent practice, the threat response softens. And when the threat response softens, your prefrontal cortex gets space to actually think instead of just defend. You also start noticing something interesting. The people most certain about everything are often the most anxious. The people most comfortable with uncertainty are often the most peaceful. Because certainty requires constant defense. You have to guard your beliefs against contradicting information. You have to avoid people who think differently. You have to filter your media consumption. You have to argue and justify and prove. Uncertainty requires none of that. You can listen to opposing views without threat. You can encounter new information without resistance. You can say, I don't know, and feel relief instead of shame. This doesn't mean abandoning all beliefs. You still need working models of reality to function. You still need values to guide decisions. But you hold them differently, as tools rather than identity, as provisional conclusions rather than absolute truths. You believe things because they're useful, not because they're certain. And when they stop being useful, you can release them without feeling like you're losing yourself. Let me be specific. If you believe in God, you don't have to stop. But you can shift from I know God exists to I find the belief in God meaningful and helpful. If you hold a political ideology, you don't have to abandon it. But you can shift from my side is right and the other side is wrong to my values lead me to support these policies, but I could be missing something. Same functional belief, different relationship to it. One is rigid, the other is flexible. One fragments under pressure, the other adapts. Here's the final layer. Your brain will resist this flexibility. It will tell you that softening certainty means losing conviction. That intellectual humility means moral weakness. That saying I could be wrong means you don't stand for anything. This is your nervous system trying to pull you back to certainty because certainty feels safe. Don't fight this resistance. Just notice it. Notice that the voice demanding certainty is not wisdom. It's fear. And fear is a terrible advisor for truth. The irony is this. The people who change the world most profoundly are rarely the most certain. They're the most curious. Darwin didn't revolutionize biology because he was certain about evolution. He revolutionized it because he was uncertain enough to keep asking questions. Einstein didn't transform physics through certainty. He transformed it by questioning assumptions everyone else took for granted. The greatest shifts in human understanding came from people willing to sit with not knowing. So here's the truth beneath all of this. Belief is not about truth. Belief is about survival. Your brain builds certainty to navigate uncertainty. It creates stories to manage chaos. It defends positions to protect identity. This is not a flaw in your design. This is your design working perfectly for a world that no longer exists. A world where quick certainty meant survival and slow doubt meant death. But you don't live in that world anymore. You live in a world where information is abundant, where complexity is real, where certainty is often illusion. And in this world, the ability to hold uncertainty, to question beliefs, to change your mind without shame, this is not weakness. This is adaptation. This is intelligence. This is freedom. Your beliefs are not you. They're things you carry. And you can examine what you carry. You can notice which beliefs serve you and which ones trap you. You can hold tight to values while holding loosely to conclusions. You can be firm in your ethics while remaining flexible in your opinions. This is the practice. Not certainty. Clarity. Not conviction. Curiosity. Not defending truth. Seeking it. And here's what happens when you do this. You stop needing everyone to agree with you. You stop feeling threatened by different perspectives. You stop exhausting yourself protecting positions you never consciously chose. You become less brittle and more resilient, less defensive and more open, less certain and more wise. Because wisdom is not knowing everything. Wisdom is knowing what you don't know, and having the courage to admit it, to yourself first, then to others. To say, "I believe this, but I could be wrong," is not weakness. It's the strongest statement a human can make. It means you're thinking instead of just believing. It means you're awake instead of just certain. So the next time you feel that heat rise when someone questions your belief, pause. Feel it. That's your nervous system trying to protect you from a threat that doesn't exist. The belief is not you. Changing the belief will not kill you. Uncertainty will not destroy you. You are not your beliefs. You are the awareness that can hold beliefs lightly enough to examine them. And in that examination, something shifts. Not what you believe necessarily, but how you believe. Not with the grip of fear, but with the openness of wonder. Not defending against the world, but curious about it. Not certain, but free. This is the paradox. The moment you stop needing to be right is the moment you can actually start being true. The moment you release certainty is the moment clarity becomes possible. The moment you admit you don't know is the moment real understanding begins. Because belief without proof is not faith. It's just fear pretending to be truth. And you deserve better than that. You deserve the freedom to question, to wonder, to change, to grow. Your beliefs will evolve. They always have. But now you can evolve them consciously instead of being dragged along unconsciously. You can choose beliefs that serve growth instead of defending beliefs that serve comfort. You can ask better questions. Not "what do I believe?" but "why do I believe it? What would change my mind? What am I protecting by holding this belief?" These questions don't weaken you. They liberate you from the prison of certainty, from the exhaustion of defense, from the smallness of never being wrong, into the vastness of not knowing, into the possibility of discovery, into the humility that makes wisdom possible. So let your beliefs breathe. Hold them loosely. Question them gently. Release them when they stop serving you. And know that uncertainty is not the absence of belief. It's the presence of honesty. And honesty, not certainty, is what sets you free.